So we're here today to talk about how you can share data using PDF. And by way of background, Safe Software is a company that creates software that moves data around. I'm Dale Lutz. I'm one of the founders. And Mark, what's your role at Safe?
I'm the FME evangelist. I do a lot of training materials as well. So
and prior to this, you've always been kind of a map guy. I know you were a Unigis guy. That's where I first met you a long time ago.
Yeah, that's right. I used to be a land surveyor before all of this, but
right.
I got fed up with the bad weather outside, as most of them do. So
especially, I guess, if you live in Vancouver. So,
yes.
So yes.
And we've got a QA team here today.
Yes. So they're also remote. None of us are actually in the same place. So Dimitri, I think, is in Coquitlam, and Mark, I'm guessing Mark is in Surrey, but I don't know where he is. I hope he's somewhere to answer questions. But they are there to answer questions as we go along today. And yes.
So here's your bit. You can do the Safe Software part.
Right. So Safe is this company that builds software to move data around, and we have about 90 or so, as Mark says, exuberant staff who are excited about our mission of making data more available and accessible to all of our users. As one user one time said, if their data isn't moving, they're not getting value out of it, and so we make it easy for you to move data around. And I just want to say a few things about PDF. All of you have joined us today to hear about PDF. I think PDF is still one of the most least understood as an option for sharing spatial data. And we like to say that you put your spatial data into PDF, and now your mother can actually use it, or your father, in my case, as well. So it really is mapping for the masses and a way to get spatial data out to people that might not have access to higher end products and GIS products to use it with. And so that's why I think I'm pretty excited about us sharing the types of things that we've seen customers do with PDF and their spatial data.
And yes, we have an online training offer coming up later.
So you can you yourself can experience the training materials that Mark makes.
Yes, so we'll run that at the end, and there's a chance you can just sign in and win. So we'll get to that towards the end.
Yes. So, well, Mark, you've been talking to some doctors lately?
I have, and they've confirmed that sharing spatial data is a major cause of pain. A pain in the neck, I suspect.
Did that 2 out of 3 doctors say this?
Oh yes, at least 8 out of 10. So we have the cure, which is this nice product we produce, FME, and mix it up with Adobe PDF, and yeah, so that's
sprinkle in some interesting input data.
That's right, and what I was going to do was just fire up one of these PDF files to get going and just sort of show everyone right off the bat what it can do.
Yeah, first of all, a lot of folks don't even know you can use PDF for this sort of thing. So we've been gathering up examples as we've done this FME World Tour. We've been amazed at the different things people have done. So which kind of PDF are you going to show us first, Mark?
Well, I'm going to show one that I got downloaded from the Adobe website, because I thought, well, that'd be a great example, because obviously they're showing things, what they can do. And my computer's running fairly slow for some reason this morning, but we'll get there in a second. So this really isn't anything to do with FME. I'd have right off the bat show people what you can do with PDF, and we have this Adobe PDF example. Thought, well, Adobe must have all of the best examples that are available, so we'll show one of those. And it'll take a while to load up, but be here in a second.
Yes, so I think it was in 2007 that Adobe began to allow spatial data to be part of a PDF, and before that there's kind of a history of this online. Our friends over at Terrago kind of pioneered the idea of putting spatial data in there, and they still are the leaders in terms of something called GeoPDF, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But this looks like, Mark, is this some kind of fancy floor plan?
It is, and this is well, it's a floor plan, but it's more as well. You can click on one of these, and it will bring up the drawing. So not only we've got spatial data in 2 dimensions in here, we hopefully in a second it's going to pop up with this 3-dimensional model that we can show.
Right. Okay.
I'm hoping. Here we go. It's very slow on my computer for some reason. Okay, so I hope you can see that,
Wow.
and you can hopefully see there's a whole bunch of controls for panning and zooming, and I can move this about in real time, and you can hopefully see some
Yep.
of that going on. So yeah, again, this is just a standard PDF file that I just downloaded from Adobe because I thought, well, hey, they're going to have a really great example. So I thought I would show that.
Yeah. So that example shows basically the integration in one PDF of 2D and 3D.
Yes, yes. So I just wanted to show that just to get people excited about what can be done with a PDF. So we got a question. Yeah.
We're going to the polls here, and just to understand our audience a little bit. So if you can just let us know how often or what your familiarity with our FME product is.
Were you going to fire this up, Dale?
It should. Their voting is underway. At least on the West Coast it's underway. Maybe not in Manitoba yet.
Okay. I'm guessing Roger in the background must have started it.
No, I did it.
Oh, you did? Wow.
Yes.
Well.
When you weren't looking. But FME is our product that stands for Feature Manipulation Engine. We don't really talk about that anymore. It's on the desktop and the server. It provides an environment for you to integrate and manipulate data as you move it between now I think more than 275 formats. So it's starting to be a pretty capable, powerful, all-encompassing tool. And of course, two of those formats involve PDF, 3D, and 2D. So I think we'll close it there and just share the results for a moment. And wow, a fifth of you haven't used FME, so thank you so much for tuning in today. You're going to learn a little bit about FME, and I hope a lot about PDF. And those two things combined should position you well to just have another set of tricks up your sleeve when you think about sharing data.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm hoping the people who have used FME before will see something interesting in what we're doing. So, okay, so here's a slide for you to talk about. Yeah.
Yes. So here's all these different data types that FME can integrate and work between. And so when we started out, we just did CAD and GIS. And in fact, I think Mark, are you using some CAD today as you're creating PDFs?
Yeah, we'll use a little bit of CAD and GIS and also raster as well.
Yes. I think do you do some 3D or point cloud today or not?
We'll do some 3D. I don't think there's any point cloud coming into it. But
I have a secret example I'm going to get them to
Oh, right. Okay.
Which I haven't tested if it works this morning, so perhaps I should do that. But anyway, so point clouds are in there, and building information models. We're flirting with doing some stuff in there, reading IFC. So all these different things are families of data where it may reside. Now, Mark, I don't even know where we would categorize PDF in this. Where would you?
I'm not sure. Possibly web, I guess, is the closest, or well, yeah. Web.
Yeah, I don't know. It also could belong. Arguably, some parts of it are like GIS, and some parts are like raster, some parts are like 3D, and actually, it does work fantastically in a web environment as well. So,
it does. Yes,
it's hard to pin.
Yes, and we used to have that a course called Maps for the Masses, which looked at PDF and KML and all of these different things, and that was really the best name that we could come up with to cover all of those different types of data.
So having looked at these different data types, we'll just quickly ask you, if you imagine being able to create PDFs in the spirit of what Mark showed earlier, what would your source data actually be coming from? And so this is kind of useful to us to just know where is the data residing that you'd like to share. And if you say other, please do chat or ask a question to tell us what that other would be, because we may be missing something that we didn't know about. So I'm seeing a very good poll turnout. We'll wait a couple more seconds for you to make your choices, and I think I'm going to close the polls now. And so I'm really curious to see these results. Wow. Okay, so everybody says GIS. Pretty much. This was a multiple choice one. There's about half of you with CAD, a large of you that has said others. So please do chat what that is, and we'll maybe pick that up later on. And a goodly chunk that are doing raster.
Yep. So today's agenda, we're going to just take a quick look at why PDF, and I think we've covered some of these already. We'll look at some FME basics for those who are unfamiliar with the product, and then we're going to look at different techniques we can use. One of the things we can do is cartographic products in PDF. We can do sharing data in 2D, sharing in 3D, and then we can look at FME Server and Beyond. So really that section is looking at different ways of distributing that data over the internet for wide mass consumption. So you still there, Dale?
Yep, still there.
Great. So why PDF? So one of the reasons is, well, it's got native support for Spatial, which probably surprises a lot of people. But you don't necessarily need any plugins or extra things like that. You can just write spatial data to a PDF, and anybody can open it up. And that's in 2D or 3D. And obviously, people are using Adobe Reader, which is free. It's popular. People know how to use it. So all in all, it is pretty good. And I just threw that line in there. But PDF and FME, I mean, together we unlock the spatial data. Is the idea so that non-GIS people can use that.
So are you actually going to show the Augsburg PDF?
What I've done is I've actually shown it. I've put it inside this PDF. So what I've got here is an FME training manual, and I just wanted to sort of show this as an example, because obviously what you can do is, if you can put spatial data in a PDF, then there's no reason why you can't put it in the middle of a document that, say, you're sending to somebody or sharing online. So say I've got this FME training manual. It's all about PDF and 3D. So I'm going to click the next page button, and hopefully in a second. Okay, it says it's not responding. But what I did, I buried this 3D model into this document, and that's one of the things that's useful about PDF.
Right. You can. So you must have done it with Acrobat Pro, probably.
Yeah, I'm using Acrobat Pro, but there's lots of products out there that you can find that would merge different documents together. I think because my computer's running very slowly this morning, it's not liking the amount of data I'm trying to throw at it. And I guess that's perhaps one. Sorry, Dale.
Yeah, customers out there are saying in the chat it's because your disk is full, Mark.
Could well be. They probably saw that that little thing that said I've got 6 gigabytes left out of 200, or whatever. So yes, we're hopefully we'll get a new computer out of this webinar, if nothing else. Okay, so it really.
If you have to,
maybe,
Mark, we can. We could flip the presenter over to me, and I could show the training. Let me just see.
Would you do that?
Let me just.
If you've got, can you grab control?
I think I probably can. Let me see. Screen sharing. Show my screen. I don't know if do I have that option? Who can do it? Make me the presenter? Let's see. You might have to.
Okay, well perhaps we'll skip this one because it's not.
No, I've been made the presenter here.
Okay, great.
So let me see where. Here we go. So you're going to have to tell me, Mark. Theoretically, folks are seeing my screen. So
yes, I'm seeing it as well. That's great.
Yes. Oh, and I saw it there for a second.
Yes, I think if you're going to say there's a drawback about PDF, is that it's probably fairly slow if you start to overload it with data. And
yes.
We've got a fairly complex model that we're showing here, and we're showing it streaming it over the internet as well, which is another issue.
So you can see the nice beach ball there. I hope there it is. So this is the PDF that Mark would have been showing. Now, folks, hopefully you can see that. And that's coming to us from a customer in Germany has done this, and actually they've got a web service where you can fill in or select an area of their town. I think it's using ArcGIS Server, and then from there it gets a poke over to FME Server to go and extract that data and put it out as a 3D PDF. And so the citizens of the place can do that, and a special tip of the hat to our friends in Augsburg for doing that.
Yeah.
So maybe with that we'll head on back to Mark's screen. So
me, yeah.
The mystical switcher in the sky, which I'm guessing is Roger. is likely doing that.
Yes, here we go. So you should be seeing my screen again. Okay, so so that's why PDF, because you can do all sorts of things with it. It's available for just about any user to use. Let me see, my PowerPoint's locking up. Here we go. So the types of PDF. We've got another quick poll question that we're going to throw at you before we start getting into the serious demos here. So are you going to fire that poll up for us, Dale?
I will. So now that you've had a little bit of taste about this, we'll ask you a couple of questions here, and this is multiple choice, asking you about what kind of PDFs you want to make. And of course there's the 2D Geospatial. That's what FME produces, that's what Esri produces, that's what Adobe's tools also can produce. There's the TerraGo GeoPDF, which are basically the 2D Geospatial with a sprinkling in of some additional functionality that allows them to make use of the the TerraGo toolbar. That's a free plug-in into your PDF reader, Acrobat reader, that basically enables some different kinds of analysis, measuring, and different sorts of things. And I know many folks are interested in having a nice, smooth workflow that lets them go integrate data with FME, produce a PDF, and then automatically have a TerraGo GeoPDF come out the back end. And right now that's a two-step process. You take a geospatial PDF, you bring it into TerraGo Composer, you hit a button or two, and now you've got a GeoPDF. We're working with TerraGo to make that smoother. If that kind of workflow is of interest to you, please let us know. Let us know in the question or the chat so that we can use that as sort of motivation for us and TerraGo to make that a smoother thing. TerraGo can also have 3D in the GeoPDF, and their toolbar there has some very interesting functionality. Of course, there's a 3D PDF, and then maybe there's folks out there that don't even know that you could do 3D PDFs before today, and we'd love to hear from you on that as well. So we will close the poll there, and I'm going to share the results. And about a fifth of you looking to do the TerraGo side of things, so that's great. And look at that. 28%, like almost a third, did not know you could even do 3D PDF. And I know that that's been our experience everywhere we go. When we show 3D in PDF, people are always surprised. So welcome. I mean, if nothing else, the third of you have at least learned that today, and hopefully that will help you make new choices and have a new set of options when you think about sharing data moving forward. So back to you, Mark.
Yep, and so that's so enough about the basics of PDF. Let's have a look at the basics of FME now. And what I'm going to do is run a translation, and hopefully you can see this product I've got on screen is our flagship product called FME Workbench, and this is basically a a tool for graphically designing flows of data, and this is what I'm going to do this morning. So first thing I'm going to do is set up a data translation from one format to another. It's sort of like a flow chart that we're producing here, I guess you could say. And my computer's still dying a death. Da, 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 da. It really is just going so slow this morning, and I don't know why. Okay, here we go. Generate workspace. So what I'm going to do is translate some data from AutoCAD Map 3D.
Wow.
I'm going to select it from there. A quick thing, I'll click on this reader formats button, and we can see all of the different formats that we support. There's several hundred of them, 275, 280 I think. So there's Oracle, there's Spatial Light, SQLite, all sorts of things, US Census, XML. We've got very good support for XML. There's a lot of Esri database support. No, we won't start on XML down the road. MicroStation, AutoCAD, there's all sorts of things there that so 270 formats we support. If your format's not supported, then let us know, because we love adding new formats. So what I'm going to do is browse for some, and I'm going to find it in my data, government boundaries, and it's this DWG file. And I'm just going to click on this parameters button, and I'm going to say group the data by the object date. And we have different ways of grouping data when we read it from AutoCAD map. So I'm going to write to another format. I could write to all of the different formats we support, but obviously we're going to PDF today because this is PDF day. So I'm just going to browse. Yes, I've officially called today PDF day, World PDF Day we'll call it. So I'm going to find. Well, I'm just going to overwrite that boundaries.pdf file there, and we'll click OK. And so what this does, it generates as this data translator, and basically generates this workflow for us that we can use and so on. And what'll happen first is it'll pop up all the different layers it finds in the AutoCAD file to ask me what exactly I want to translate. And again, we're running miles slower than normally.
It must be your sister's house there where you are, your sister-in-law's house.
I think it's my computer and the power supply and all sorts of things.
Well, the busy snake is moving right along in the bottom there, Mark.
It is. I mean, it's not an FME or a PDF thing. I mean, I've got to make that clear. It's really my computer dying on its feet today.
Well, see, this is a good way to set folks' expectations. If they watch this and they try it themselves, it'll seem so much faster.
It will seem lightning fast, and maybe we should almost switch to your computer to just open up this workspace and have a look at it, because my machine is not.
Just let me get set up there first.
Okay.
Let me.
And I won't even make you do the demos live. We'll just pull up the workspace and.
Okay, just let me. Get stuff set up here first. That's one of the things that Roger tells us is be prepared.
Yes. And this is why this is why we copied everything to you last night.
Yes, but it's not. It's why I'm not quite ready. I'm just going to get set up. Is it there yet, Mark, or you're still thinking?
Yeah. Sorry about this, folks.
Okay.
So I will. We'll run it from there from now on, and
we'll just have to get sharing here, and let me see. PDF webinar of July. All right, we'll take that, and that will do that. So close that, and let me do this. And
normally
so Roger, are you sharing my stuff there, Roger? Okay, yeah, here we go. Show my screen. Okay, so folks should be able to see from beautiful Surrey. And what are we doing? FME Basics, Mark?
Yes, the first one.
Okay.
Okay. So let me. Okay, I can see your screen. Excellent.
Yeah. So this was Map 3D to PDF 2D, and it's just swapping in on my computer. Boy, we're having lots of slowness here today, Mark.
We are. Everyone needs a new computer.
There's a disturbance in the force. Okay, here we go. So you were actually going to take some county data.
Yes.
And
so what we've got is county boundaries, roads, and there's the state boundary as well.
Yes.
That's the nice thing about AutoCAD map is you can share boundaries between different features.
So you were building areas out of some kind of lines.
And so what we've got there is for people who are unfamiliar with FME, we're talking about transformers here, these blue objects. And transformers, again, we've got several hundred of those, and they do different tasks to modify the data while it's being translated from one format to another. So we could generalize it, snap points, build polygons, generate statistics, all sorts of things. And what we're doing here is actually building areas out of these lines, and then we've got this PDF styler transformer to give the features a bit of style before we write them out to the PDF output.
Oh wow, so you got all kinds of control in the styles here. I can see widths of like butt caps and so on. Are we allowed to say butt caps on this webinar, Mark?
That's an interesting terminology.
But it
so
seems like
we can set color and fill color and opacity and things like that.
Wow, fonts and everything.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things we can do to style the output.
And so did you have that the result of that when we output it?
If you look in the output folder, you don't even need to run that. I mean, if you run it, it should take about 15 seconds. But with the way
so which one is it?
It would be, where are we looking? Oh, it would be in the FME data folder in the output. It would be in that webinar data.
I'm going to have to go old school and unzip this thing. So is this, is it in there, Mark, the PDF webinar data?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Whoops. CD to PDF webinar. Folks, this is how you use a Mac from the command line. Okay, and in the output folder here.
Yes. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use a Mac from a...
It's the best user interface. Stephen Jobs would be proud of me. Which one did it be?
Boundaries.pdf.
Okay. Wow, here it comes in. Okay, so this is where all your styling and butt capping and everything else is showing up in here now.
Yeah, and so you can look at the different layers, and we can turn the layers on and off and do various things with them like that. So you can turn the county data off, and you can just see the state and the roads. So in the normal course of events, that would take about a couple of minutes to run through that example, and you can look at the different individual features like that as well.
Right, and so we can kind of walk through them individually like this as well.
Yeah, you should.
Very good. Okay, so should we go back to you, or should I just stay driving?
No, I think we should let you drive, and we'll just keep driving.
Then you're going to have to be my narrator there, Mark, and so we got to whip through to catch up.
Yes.
Okay, so there we go.
All of this. So we've done the brief demo of FME functionality. So we're going to look at cartographic products in FME now, and this example here is from a customer. They showed it at the FME user conference in Spain a year or two ago, and what they've done is basically taken their GIS data and some background data, and they've sort of put it all together, and they put a grid on top, and they've created this lovely frame, and they've stuck it into there. They've got the little inset map and all of the different components, and they really made a fantastic job out of this. I was so impressed when I saw this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fire up FME and try and show you in brief how you would create this sort of output.
Okay.
So the idea here is that we're creating a PDF file that's especially for use as a cartographic thing. So basically it's for printing out, is what we're saying.
So okay, should I close this one, I guess?
Yeah, just open up the new one and it'll...
So are we going blank?
No, we'll open up an existing workspace.
Okay. So okay. So it's just from our list here. So is it? Yeah. I'm guessing number 2.
Yes, and this one was a little bit more complicated, and I wasn't planning to demo it live anyway because of that.
Okay.
But,
okay.
I just wanted to show all the different components of this.
Okay, so this is reading a file geodatabase.
So yeah, so what we're reading there is a set of tiles, basically map tiles. So the user gets to choose which map tile they want to look at.
So it must be this file that I'm pointing at here.
Yes, it's that geodatabase. So there's a geodatabase, it's got a whole bunch of different grids in there, and basically we'll read those in, we'll test which one the user has chosen, and we'll show in a moment how the user gets to choose that particular tile. And then what we do, we go to the actual data and we read the data that they've chosen. So basically basically we'll get the user to pick a grid, one of these grids, and if you can flip back to the workspace,
so that's where
we have this feature reader transformer.
Okay, here.
Right. And so for those who know FME, the feature reader basically reads a data set. But this is a way we can read data without having to read the entire data set. So what we do is we just basically
I see the envelope intersect.
Yes, the envelope. So basically we don't have to read the entire data set, we only have to read that tile of data that the user's defined. And in DGN it's not really that efficient anyway because it's not spatially indexed, but in the spatially indexed format, and especially a database form, that technique is really fantastic.
So then you're going into different styles.
Yes, yeah. So we're reading the data, we're giving it a style, and we're also giving it an ID number to sort by. And the reason I'm doing this is because the numbers with the features with a higher number I want to appear at the bottom, and the lower number I want to appear at the top. And so we basically change the order of the features within FME by giving it an ID, sorting by that number. So basically the property parcels will go at the bottom, the city parks above that, and so on. So that's a tip out there for any existing users.
Right. So basically, PDF is one of these formats where the order is very important. I know in old CAD days we used to do the same thing. You want to put the stuff out that's at the bottom first.
Yes, that's right.
So we sort it that way. Yeah.
So what we've got here is a custom transformer I wrote that basically takes a predefined map border, and so what we've got in that DGN file that we're reading here might be of interest if you open it up in the inspector, because what it is a predefined frame in DGN format. So we're reading this frame and we're going to fit the data that we've just read into that frame, and so yeah, it'll probably be useful to see what that frame looks like.
Whoops. Okay, I need to. It's a DGN.
It is.
So V7 or 8?
8. Yeah.
Okay. And so let's go snooping, and I think it's in here. It's this one, right, Mark? All right. Let's take a peek at it.
Yes, maps around. So this is what we've got, and again, this is a technique I hope some of you existing FME users will be able to make use of. So basically, we've got a map, we've got dummy text in there. The feature you've just clicked is the map data boundary.
This one here, the inside one.
Yes, that's the data boundary. So what we're going to do in that custom transformer is going to warp the data we've read from the data set into that space.
That's what's going on in here.
There. Yes, so that's what's going on in there. And that was a little bit more complicated than I expected it would be, but basically I've made this custom transformer available, and I think on the PowerPoint there's a link that you can follow to get that. I wrote an article and put it on FMEpedia, our wiki, for people to get hold of. And so basically we're reading that DGM, we're reading the data, we're warping the data into that particular map area. We're just doing some random styling then, and then basically outputting the data to PDF. And now if you look in other parts of this workspace, there's other parts are doing similar things. You probably need to go up or down, probably up. And
rasters are in here.
Yes, we're reading some raster as well. Basically, I had
an FME logo.
Yes, I had a little box on there to put a logo in, so we're going to read an FME logo. And again, we're doing the same sort of thing. We're warping it into the position of the of the box. Although in this case, we're using a different transformer to do it. And then a bit further down, we've got the text element. So we're reading in those text, and we're doing this attribute copy, which basically says, okay, well, if the text was this, then now make it something else. So we're saying, okay, if you've got, so that must be the size. So probably a bit further to the right, we're just styling the text in black. So we're reading the text. I do try to keep my workspaces nice and nicely laid out. A bit further to the right. So yeah, so we've got this text mapping transformer there, which is basically says, well, okay, you entered a map description, and it replaces the text that was in there with a new description for that.
I see.
Yes. So now if you go back to the main tab and hit the prompt and run, and I'm hoping this is going to work, but I think I might have forgotten to send you one of the data files.
Yes. So, I may not go ahead and run it, but it's complaining to me that I don't have some of this stuff. But
yes, yeah. So this is what we can do with something we call publish parameters that let the user decide what they're going to do with this workspace. So
I've never seen this before in my life, Mark. This slider thing.
Sliding thing. I thought that was just as simple as putting a number in. So,
yes.
You basically pick which tile you want. You can pick which logo you want. It says log file. It means logo. You can change the title, the author, the description, and the scale. And so basically, if you look in the for those PDFs. Let's see what we've got. You need to be in the output.
The output directory.
Yes.
There we go. And it must be cartographic?
Yes.
So this would be the result?
Yes.
Coming
so this
up.
Is what
Whoa, okay.
basically I ran that translation, and there it goes. And so we picked out a particular tile. You can see what that tile is in the in little insert.
Yes.
You can see where the FME logos got imported and all the text has got updated. And so that took me about I don't know, 4 to 6 hours to create that workspace, which is, I mean, once you get into this, you can't really stop yourself. So that's why we're.
And see, the beauty of it is this can be then applied all over the place. And I know that this isn't going to quite work. I'm going to tell it to go anyway, but I don't have the data. But I just wanted to show folks that that when you run this, you can see how you can batch this from the command line later on. And so here's all of the various things that Mark would be prompting for. And so you could write a batch for this, or you could put up to FME Server and have people interactively enter these parameters. But it's very impressive, the output, for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a cartographer.
And it's not as impressive as the Spanish example, I think, but it took a lot less time to create.
Yes.
And if you sorry.
You're really creating a beautiful bit of art here, and so the more you kind of put into the styling, the better the result. But this is a very good start for just a very simple investment.
For sure. And if you look and go back to the PowerPoint, I think there's a link there that people can click or they can see that will take them to so fme.ly/PDF map. And if you go to that, it's basically an article I wrote that's online, and you can basically copy that workspace down and use it. And
what was it? It was like this. Is that right,
PDF
Mark?
Map. Yes, I don't think it matters if it's upper or lowercase.
Look at that. Oh, that puts us right to FMEP. Oh, this is that very example. So the folks at home can.
This is the exact example, and you can download the workspace and the data, and you can try it out, and you can copy any of the aspects of that. The big aspect to copy, I think, will be the warping transformer, because it took me a bit longer because I purposely made that up to be a unique, reusable item in there. For anyone who's not an FME user, we have custom transformers which users can develop themselves and then share them with other people, and that is one example of that.
So I just chatted everybody the link, so they'll be off on that.
Okay, so the next thing we wanted to look at was sharing data in 2D, and you might say, well, what's the difference between the cartographic example? Well, the cartographic example really was intended, you probably print that out. With the 2D PDF, what we're intending here is that you actually share the document with somebody, and they like use it in a live way rather than actually printing it out. They'd actually use it within Adobe Reader. So if you can open up the workspace for that, Dale, that would be great.
I was anticipating that you'd want that.
Yes, and this is another one I was going to create live because it was just so easy to do. So what we've got here is we're reading some parks data from the city of Austin. Anyone who's seen our training will know we love this data set. We're calculating the area of it with a transformer that calculates size of features, and then the key thing we've got there is the attribute creator transformer. So are you switching?
Oh.
Okay. So the attribute creator transformer with the click tip and the URL, and basically we could have done this directly within that PDF styler, but I thought I'd show it within this different transformer. And if you can click on the right hand side, Dale, and you can open up the editor, and so you can see what I've done here. So we're creating a URL that we're attaching to all of the features, and the URL does a Google search. It says look on images.google.com. It's looking for the name attribute, which will be the name of the park, and park, Austin. So so we're basically doing an image search.
I got to see this thing, Mark. So I bet that you've got one for me somewhere here.
The other thing there was, and the other thing was the tooltip. So we calculated the area and put it into a tooltip with.
I should look at that too. So that's something in FME you can have. Oh, this has a carriage return in it even, huh, Mark? So it's a multi-line tooltip.
Yes. So we've got the park name and the park size as a tooltip.
Wow.
So, you can.
So we'd run this and then.
And you can also. Sorry to interrupt. You can also see there's a Mr. Sid file that we're reading there as well. That. So we're just throwing a bit of Backmaster for a demo. So quickly open Open that if you can, Dale, and that should be parks.pdf, I suspect.
Oh, I see a Mr. Sid coming in.
Yep. So again, people might not have realized that you could even put raster data inside a PDF. It really is very simple. Obviously, you don't want to put too much in there at too high a resolution, because PDF is not the best format in terms of data, but in terms of large data amounts. So there's your tooltip. You hover over that. So if you can scroll down a little bit, Dale, because one of the better ones to click on in terms of images is this one in the bottom left, the cyan coloured one. There you go. So the tooltip is Morris Williams.
Yeah.
The
Should I go
size
for
of
it?
that is 8 million square feet. Sure, go for it.
I'll say I will allow.
Yes. And the size that we calculated was like 7 decimal places, but it doesn't need to be.
We could round that off, yeah.
Yeah. And so you can see that Morris Williams is obviously a golf course.
Is this Morris right here?
I've no idea. Is he trying to
It
hack
might
it
be
out, or
Morris.
is he trying to clear the shrubbery? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I must get me a shrubbery. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's a obscure reference for people. Okay.
Yes. But the nice thing about that
cool.
with the URL is that you could use any URL you like. So it could be local, it could be on the internet, it could be a link to a document, an image. The one thing I really liked the idea of, and I didn't have time to put it together, was a sound file. So say you've got this on your sort of mobile device. You've got this PDF on your iPad, which you can do quite easily. You say, oh, that park looks interesting. You press on that park, and basically it triggers a sound file that says Morris Williams Golf Course is considered one of the most difficult in the city of Austin, and so
looks like these are some knights that are out looking for a shrubbery as well.
Yeah, they're in the wrong part. They're in Walnut Creek. They should be in Morris Williams. So so the URL is fantastic. You can even link to different web services, and we'll look at that later if we get time to do that.
Yes. Okay. So that's great, Mark.
So let's hurry on, because I think we're.
Oh wow! Look at all these.
So 3D. This is the one I really like. So the 3D one in the bottom left. I don't know if you recognise that one, Dale. It's the city of Gavle, is it in Sweden? Gävle, sorry, with the goat in the middle. And you can see the title of that PDF is Roof Demo Christmas Goat.pdf, which I think is great. So that's the 3D buildings in the bottom right. There's one. This one comes from a success story we've got on our website. That was 3 original wells that were being drilled. And the other example there was, well, it wasn't so much a customer one. It was one I created, but it was a 3D rainfall map of the US, that one.
Oh,
so the high points on there aren't mountains, they're actually rainfall. And I did that, and that's on the FME Evangelist website that I have.
So basically, the good thing you cut it off, because if Vancouver was on there, it would kind of screw up the whole scale, I guess.
It would be like the Inconvenient Truth, where he has to get the crane out to show how high it is.
Yes.
That's Vancouver for you.
The city of Gävle thing is interesting, because that's one that FME created right from base principles. So we had building footprints, some images, and then we created it, and we even put the Christmas goat in the middle and lit it on fire. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty fun.
Which is what they do, yes. So let's go on to our demo, which is the next slide. So we're going to basically mash up this 3D elevation model. We're going to throw some raster in there. We're going to throw some GIS, sort of spatial data, in there as well. We're not going to throw a building model in, but we could do it. There's an example on the website that does exactly that. So this looks a little bit more complicated than I expected, but it really isn't, to be honest. The reprojectors in there are reprojecting that data from one coordinate system to another to make sure they're all in the same space. On the left-hand side are all the inputs. So at the top we've got a little raster image, top left, and then just below that is the you need to be left a bit if you're pointing at the mouse, Dale.
Okay.
So on the left-hand side, there's at the top where it says inputs, there's the GeoTIFF we're reading. We're reading a CDED elevation model below that, which is basically the same as US GS. at the bottom we're reading a map info data with hydrographic data.
Yes.
So we're reading that, we're reprojecting that. If you scroll across to the right, past those clippers, we've got a surface modeler. So
Yes.
what we're doing there is we're modeling, creating a surface out of the elevation model, and we're creating a tin surface, and we can write that tin surface straight to PDF, which is beautiful. It really is.
Okay.
Below that, what we're doing, we're taking the hydrographic lines and we're using this draping tool, and we're draping those lines onto that surface. So we're basically turning two-dimensional GIS into a three-dimensional
Yes.
GIS by draping it over that elevation model. And a bit further up on the just as you went down, just a bit further up, we got the appearance adder. So what that's doing is it's taking that raster that we're reading and it's applying it as an appearance or a surface onto that tin surface. So it's basically a texture, I guess, and we're writing that out as well.
Now I noticed you're being tricky here, Mark, and you inserted a scalar transformer that must be exaggerating the Z.
It is, just because the data comes from Austin, Texas, which is a little bit flat, and well, it's beautiful while you're there, but it's not so interesting in this demo. So
if you're biking, it's nice if it's flat, I guess.
Yes. And the other thing in there is the clipper. So what we're doing, we're just taking the extents of that raster image and clipping all of the data to make sure it's the same size. So really, you could chop all of this out if you already had your data that was the same size, shape, and coordinate system.
So can I jump to the output?
You can, yes.
Is it 3D?
It's 3dexample.pdf, yes. And if we look at this, first thing you should do, I think, is bring up the list of layers and turn them all off. Because what I want to do is show them each one at a time. So we've got the rest. So let's see, tin surface first, perhaps. Let's try that.
I'll take tin surface for 10 points.
Yes, so here's the tin surface. So this is what the surface looks like created from that DEM that we have.
50 times as exaggerated as it really is.
50 times exaggerated, yes. And so then turn on the raster image as well.
My driving is a bit suspect. Sorry. Okay, so you want the raster as well?
Yes. So now...
Oh, it's underneath.
Yes, it's underneath. But that doesn't matter for us because,
We're mostly, that's just to show folks you can put a raster in there.
Yes, that's really just to show how we're building this blended surface.
So maybe I should turn these two off and then go for that.
That's right. Yeah, so what we've done is we've taken that raster and we've applied it as an appearance onto that elevation.
This is the chocolate plus the peanut butter.
Well, yes, and then we'll add the jelly of the hydrographic data.
Whoa, I haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm getting hungry now.
Which has basically been draped over the tin. Now I notice there's one river that seems to be floating in midair, and I think that might be because it's so close to the edge, it's not quite hitting the...
It's out in space there. It's off the edge of the world. Yeah,
so I think I think it's not quite clipped, or probably the elevation model doesn't extend quite out to that distance.
Right. But in any case, well, yeah.
I mean, this example did not take long to create at all. It really doesn't. It's just half a dozen transformers. Suddenly you've got this surface. It's three-dimensional. It's got your raster images on top. You can drape any sort of GIS or CAD data. You can even put a building in there in 3 dimensions and place it in position. So you could really use it to visualize, say, the impact of a new project on a particular area.
You know, Mark, I'm going to break from script, but I know you've done another one a while ago called Uber Drape.
Well, I think you called it Uber Drape, but I don't know what Uber means, so my German isn't quite up there. But
Ich kann nur ein bisschen sprechen. Okay, so this was another same kind of example. I think you had data coming from a bunch of places. I don't know where this was. Was this also in Austin, Texas?
That's also Austin, yes.
And I think you put a...
we were looking at. There's a building there. The building
is... Is that the model of your new house, Mark?
No, it's Los Angeles railway station.
Okay, but
it looked good in this image, and it was just made to show. Yes.
So basically, we can add. In this case, it was a SketchUp model, wasn't it, Mark?
Yes, I got it straight from the Google warehouse and just plonked it straight in there. So, and the parks in there are solid green. Since then, we've moved on and we can make them semi-transparent, which is always useful. I think we better move on to the next section, Dale, because we're going to run out of time.
We're running out of time. I'll get the Yavla up there for later. All right.
Yes.
Oh, we showed these Augsburg guys already.
We did. So what we're looking at now is FME Server and Beyond. So basically looking at different things different ways of using this PDF technology with FME. And FME Server is basically our equivalent of FME Desktop. It runs obviously on a server. So basically you can serve up information on the internet to people. And that's exactly what they're doing here, I believe.
Sure, I think this is an ArcGIS server thing, as we mentioned. Then they've built this little frame in here which basically sends off requests to FME Server, and all it's doing is filling in the parameters for a command line, basically, but it's all being done using web technology. And then zipping on back comes this fabulous PDF. Now, we won't show, but these guys also, if someone orders a shapefile or a DXF or DWG, they also produce a 2D PDF to come along with it as a companion.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So this is, I don't know if, is this a public website you can go to, or?
I think it is. I think it is.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's nice that we can integrate so well with ArcGIS Server.
Yes, for these types of situations.
Yes, absolutely, and it gives people the ability to download in different formats, which is invaluable, and different coordinate systems and all sorts of things. So.
And I just wanted to also put a shout out to our partners Avenza, who have used our technology in a few ways. If you're into higher end cartographic kinds of things, their map publisher is very interesting, and it combines with FME and then zings you into Adobe Illustrator. So that's one aspect that's also quite interesting, and I've seen some really amazing outputs from customers coming through that. And lastly, I was going to show it, but we don't have time. They have a very good mobile PDF reader for maps, and you can take these 2D PDFs, the 3Ds don't work, and using their free app, if you search for Avenza PDF on the App Store, you'll see it. You can then work with these things right inside your mobile device as well.
Okay. But yes, anyway, so Map Publisher integrates with FME. Data download. So I was going to show FME Server example. We can go to that site, but it doesn't actually run because I think I forgot to give it the same file that I forgot to give you. So
right. So what should we?
We could show that if you wanted, just what server looks like.
Where would you like me to go?
Well, there's a URL on the slide. If you click on the top right of the slide.
Whoops.
And I don't know if it's clickable or not.
It isn't. So Owly. Which one? The first one or the second one?
The first one, yes, the first one.
So CBBHC. All right. Yes. So owl.ly.
Sounds like a children's. It sounds like a children's TV channel. CBBHC.
Owly is kind of how I often feel these mornings when I get up early to go to a webinar.
Right. So this is FME Server that we have online, and you can see we do all of these different data download and streaming and things like that, and we can serve things up as WFS. If you look in data streaming or data download, is the evangelist thing there, and so yeah, you probably want data download, I think, because I didn't do the streaming for this. So data download evangelist number 5. If you hit the configure button for number 5, you got it. Great. So basically you're going to see there the same parameters that you could put in desktop, and you can change all these parameters, but this runs online, so anybody could go online and get this, and you can wrap this up in a much nicer interface and do whatever you like to it. And if you hit run, it probably won't work because I think it's missing a file that I forgot to upload.
Right.
But that was my fault rather than anything else.
That's the idea of that one.
Yeah.
And as well, I think we have that example that we could show or mention this. If you just quickly, folks, send an email to lidar@alertdemo.safe.com, you can email things to FME Server, and it will send you back your very own 3D PDF. And I think we're running short on time, so I won't do it myself, but if you want to do it right now, please exercise the server. You'll get your very own with your email address in there as a little memento of the day. And what other webinar lets you take home your own PDF? I'd like to put that out there as a challenge.
So yeah, so that's basically alerts and notifications. So FME Server can respond to notifications and issue an alert, and in this case it's responding to the email that you're sending in and issuing an email back to you, but it could do any sort of web type technology there.
Yes, so please do send an email in to lidar@alertdemo and have that as a momentum.
Look at the bus route one very quickly.
Yeah, what does it do, Mark? Which is that, the BQ one?
Yes. So what that does is it's a PDF where it's got URLs
right?
inside it. Yeah.
Whoops, I mustn't have. Whoops, it was C, 3 B's in a Q. C. It's a little bit unintuitive.
Sorry, I should have made that
okay.
link.
There we go. Oh,
so what
this
does, yeah. So if anybody out there wants to try it, they can just go to that URL, and and we'll give these out later as well. We'll definitely give out this information for you. You can hit the run it live. It returns a PDF, and basically it's got an inset map like before, but they're all clickable URLs in there. So you can click on one of those different insets, and it will go away and say to server, "Hey, we want this." So if you scroll down, you can see that little inset map.
Yeah.
And if you click on one of those,
and I just did, and I think it's now going.
Yes. So what that's done is it's pinged a request off the server, and server says, "Okay, you want to see tile N27."
Look at that.
And it'll fire it back like that.
Wow.
And that'll have bus routes and bus stops on it, although there aren't many out there. It must be
right.
rural.
But the concept is you can end up building a system that lets you navigate through PDF maps by using those. The URL technique that you were showing before.
Yes, and you can basically use it as a dashboard, if you want to call it that, for browsing around a set of data. Okay, so we probably should wrap up now.
Yes, so let's just see if there's any. I'm just going to look through if there's any interesting questions from folks. So
well actually, why don't we just give everyone the last chance to send in a question, and while we're doing that, we've got a couple of things to wrap up.
Last housekeeping things.
Yes. So
use the
PDF. So having seen this, I think we'd like people to suggest, hey, what do you think you might do?
Yes.
With this.
Because we've shown you. I mean, just kind of to sum up, we've shown you a wide range of things here. I hope we've shown you that where your input data is does not matter. You can take any input data you might have, blend it together, and then make it available to the masses. And you can have this hosted on the web like our Augsburg friends did. The Shell people are that way too, using FME Server. Or you can do it on the desktop if it's more of a batch or a one-off kind of thing.
Or we can do that very simple demo and just say, hey, take this geodatabase, this map info, and just write it as a PDF, just so I can give it to someone. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm going to close the poll there, but just to let people see the results, and they are indeed quite impressive to see what people have said.
That's good to see sharing as 2D, because I don't know many people who really make use of those tooltips and URL hyperlinks.
Yes. So anyway, that's great. And so then, in addition, we're going to, of course, let you get a recording of this. That'll be emailed out to you. We have webinars on FME that you can, if you want to understand how Mark puts these kinds of things together, you can definitely tune into those.
And free trials and all sorts of things.
Yeah, there's training and stuff. Yep. Trials and everything is available. If there's 22% of you haven't tried FME, go ahead and get a free eval. Just go to safe.com, and there's links off that page as well. And
download the tutorial, and
off you go.
Win a seat in training. So we've got a quick questionnaire. So 25 seats, excellent. There you go. So you have a chance if you want to take training to try it out.
And I notice as I see the poll results coming in, everybody is extremely polite today, because those that are saying no are saying no thanks. Great. So we appreciate that. It must be that PDF people tend to be very polite. So thanks for that. Tuning in
our
today.
Our online training is quite special because we set up Amazon machines, virtual machines in the cloud, and the trainees get to connect to those and use them in the cloud. So you don't need to use your own computer either. And, well, you do to connect to that, but you don't need to install FME or anything.
Yes.
You can just
right. It's a great way to just sort of graze and learn about it, even if it's peripheral to what you're doing. So anyway, let's take a look if there's any last questions and answers. I know we're just about out of time here. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? Thanks, Garnet, for that question. I'm going to have to pass on that, but my sister is an ornithologist, my sister-in-law, so I may have to. Is ornithologist a bird doctor? I better watch out.
A bird watcher.
Yes.
An ornithologist is a wood watcher.
Okay.
Sorry, that's my little joke for the day. Sorry.
Okay. So somebody asked if you can layer or tile key maps, and yes, you can do that sort of thing. And then you could have hyperlinks that would zoom in and out. But it's quite easy. Now the hyperlinks would be that the top one would win. Like, so you couldn't have layered hyperlinks, I don't think, Mark. Do you know about that?
I can't say I've tried that, but I suspect you're right.
Yes. So let's see.
But generally, you'd layer it so the larger features would be low, and so they would extend out above the bigger features.
I also
it depends what you're doing.
I have someone asking if they can read PDFs back in, and sadly, we don't read PDFs. If we ever were to do that, we would probably have to rasterize them. So, but anyway, so thanks for asking that. Good question. And let's see. Can you run a workspace from ArcMap with parameters to generate a 3D PDF? Yes, you can extend ArcMap using Java add-in. And all these workspaces, there's an API we have for free called the Workspace Runner. If you have FME, then Workspace Runner lets you fire up Workspace, ask some questions, and off it goes. So
and not just Java, there's Python and all sorts of APIs
yes.
that we have. So.
Yes.
And
somebody's asked, yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Sorry, the data interoperability extension as well embeds all of this functionality into ArcGIS. Does it do PDFs?
Yes. So if you have the data interop extension within ArcGIS, you can do all this same stuff, and even ArcGIS Server, yeah. Especially at 10.1. Actually, I should throw a tip of the hat there. The data interop extension is a subset of FME, and at ArcGIS 10.1, it is exactly FME 2012, which was what Mark was showing today.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we better call it a wrap there. Somebody's asking, are we going to be at the Esri UC? Yes, we are. And actually, I see our friend Bruce Harold saying if you're coming to the Esri UC, he reminds you that the data interop is the only way to write 3D PDF in ArcGIS. So thanks, Bruce, for reminding us of that. Bruce is a product manager and our good friend and partner over at Esri as well. So yes, we're going to be at the Esri UC. You can come by our booth. We're going to have a fabulous giveaway. We're throwing, basically, they're a little bit dangerous. They're almost like ninja throwing discs that we're giving away on family night. So I'm wondering if we're going to have to get people to sign a waiver before we give them out. But it should be worth stopping by. But I think, Mark, we survived this despite thunderstorms and other acts of God.
And I apologize for everyone for the slow start and things not going quite to plan, but we got there.
When you're showing FME and PDF, Mark, the results just speak for themselves. And I just want to say at the very end, too, I'm always so impressed with what our customers have done with this, and it's sort of an honor to be able to share the kinds of things that customers worldwide have done and to give more of you an idea of what can be done. And we look forward to seeing beautiful outputs being shared with the masses in the weeks and months ahead. So from sunny Langley, British Columbia, this is Dale signing off.
And I'm in thunderstorm-ridden Killarney, Manitoba, but it's clearing up.
All right. So you all have a great day. We'll hang around a bit longer to answer any questions that are coming in through the chats and the questions. But until next time, this is Dale and Mark saying goodbye.